meaning Pop-Up, we're kind of late because we had a flat tire, but we're on our way inside. We're going to meet them there, and Pop-Up's going to explain to Jordan all the projects he worked on that went into space. Well, we made it.
We're so happy.
Hey, there's Mickey Mouse.
Hello.
How you doing? Okay, let's go. Let's go inside.
You want something to drink? Some pink lemonade? You're not allowed to drink it in there. But
Okay, right up there.
that's where the first airplane. And over here is the Spirit of St. Louis.
Okay, we're gonna go over here.
So this is the first airplane with the Wright brothers.
So, did you work on this one?
No, that's the Wright brothers. And then,
You know where you were where they took off at Kitty Hawk when we went down to North Carolina? Remember we saw that?
see that plane over there is the first transatlantic.
Lindbergh's plane.
It used to be in the old museum, hanging in the ceiling before they made this big museum.
Yeah?
Is that really the Spirit of St. Louis?
No, I really want to see the things Dad did. That's why I came
This
here.
is the one used to be hung in the old building before they built this new building. Almost took up the whole room.
Joy, that was the first airplane.
No, over there was the first airplane, Jay.
This is the first airplane.
That's the first one that flew the Atlantic.
And then that's what, is that the X-15 up there?
Yeah, that's the one that Chuck Yeager broke the sound barrier.
That's the one that broke the sound, the yellow one. Yeah, the orange one.
Now let me explain these capsules here. Now here's the capsule.
Wait till Barry's gonna get that.
Here's the capsule. That's Gemini.
Okay, let's go over and look at it.
Now Gemini is the first.
Wait, why don't you wait until we get over there and you can talk about it? No, 60s.
Early
Huh?
60s. But it's the first Alan Shepard flew into action.
Look how little it is too, Jordan.
Oh my God.
What's that thing?
Oh, that's the thing. It's a balloon. It goes on a balloon. It hangs down from the balloons.
Yeah, that's a balloon. Now this is what Alan Shepard. There's an exhibit upstairs which tells all about all the Gemini.
Hey Barry, how you doing, man?
What's up? All the Gemini pilots.
Uh-huh.
And how are you?
Did you look inside here, Jordan? Look.
Let's see. Hi, Jamie.
Barry,
How are you?
You can see how the astronaut fits in there.
You imagine
Hi, Joy. How are you?
And then what's this one? Is this Apollo over there?
What's new? This is Gemini. I'm sorry, I get it wrong. This is Mercury. This was
This is a Mercury. This is the first one. This is what John Glenn went on, right?
well, Alan Shepard and John Glenn went.
Right.
Okay. Now over here.
This is a one-person
now,
capsule.
Gemini is the twins.
Right.
The twins are two men. See the two men?
Right.
Now there's a whole exhibit upstairs that tells how many of the two men went.
Right.
Now, this was Apollo, the third. That's the one that circled the moon first.
Yes, sir.
Are these
Jordan.
the real
Jordan.
ones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They rescued them when they landed.
You see the.
But this doesn't look like it's strong enough to go through
It did.
space.
Well, the plastic wasn't part of it,
Well,
I
Jordan.
know, but
Look on the bottom.
It was all burned off by
The heat.
into the earth. This thing was
this
flaming
doesn't look
red.
like it's
Real.
strong enough to go through the atmosphere.
And that over there is the Apollo. They used to send the men to the moon.
There's like 17.
Yeah.
Now, Dad, you worked on which one?
Well, the only one that
The Apollo, right?
I worked on the handheld camera that was in the Apollo, the black and white camera. Okay, we saw the
Can we
first
see
one.
it right in there if we line up?
No, you can't see it because it's they don't show you the
Inside?
inside. In fact, they don't show you a lot of the inside of the stuff.
You sure they don't have an opening, Dad?
I don't know.
Oh, look, Dad, is that the lunar orbiter? I mean, the LEM that went down?
That's the Viking.
The Viking? That you worked on that too?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if we can see inside here. Now.
I don't think.
Yeah, you can. You can see in here.
Yeah. You can see a camera. I work on black and white.
Why don't you look in there and see if you see it?
Would you recognize it?
Yeah.
Well, the eagle one.
No, I don't see it.
Do you remember where they put it in?
Well, they looked out the window.
It's probably on that side though. Or like, it's probably down there.
I'll show you my, and when I get home, I can show you my pin.
There it is.
Uh-huh.
Right on top up, see it? The gray thing? Got the little thing on the bottom? Looks like you're twisted. With the yellow strap.
This was the one I was running.
Is it black?
See, went out. See that window up there?
Did it go out that window?
Well, they've shown it out the window.
Uh-huh.
They didn't design it to go
Outside.
outside. It was mainly to look around the cabin.
Right.
But somebody pointed it out the window.
Right.
That's when we saw the first pictures from the moon
Uh-huh.
of the Earth.
Now this is what over here, Dad. There they are. Isn't this cool, Jordan?
Now this is called the Viking. Now with this actually, there were two things. There was a Viking orbiter.
Turn around so I can put you this way.
There's a Viking orbiter. That used to go around, and then this is the lander. Now on the lander, I worked on a thing called the what was it? Well, this package, which included the high power transmitter that went out this. See that thing over here?
What?
That dish.
The antenna dish?
Yeah, that pointed back to the Earth.
And you worked on that?
Yeah. I didn't work on that. That was done in Moorestown. But I worked on the transmitter that powered that. It's inside there.
Right.
I also worked on.
Listening, Jordan?
There's two other packages that were mounted inside. Oh yeah, the transponder. The transponder received information from the Earth.
Right.
Triggered the transponder. It told all of the telemetry data, the information about temperatures and everything that was on Mars.
Right.
And then it fed the signal back down through the high-power transmitter.
Right.
So it was communicated primarily a 12-watt TWT and a transponder with a primary communication. And Moorestown supplied that dish through us.
Right. Okay. Let me just start this for just 1 second. Let's just take. This balloon that hangs down, the little craft.
There's a box in there that receives signals from the Earth and interrogates the whole thing and gets all the temperatures and all the pressures and everything.
What are these?
And sends it back. And then I work to see that dish that's on top.
Yeah.
That's a dish that feeds high-powered transmitter back to Earth.
What are these?
Satellite.
This is the Spirit of St. Louis.
Right. What are these other jets? Are these like the gray one up there? What's that? There's a Russian one too, Jordan, over there. Russian and
I got the
a
Hindenburg up here.
Okay, well, why don't we go upstairs and look at the Tyrus? Wait, I wonder what that satellite is up there. What do you think that is? Is this a Tyros right here, Dad? Oh, that is. Okay.
First Tyros weather satellite.
Look, it's M.
RCA.
This is RCA. These are all solar panels. They pick up the heat.
Talk a little bit towards me, Dad.
Now, what I worked on was a later version. I worked on some of this, but a later version with the transmitters. This is the original Tyros weather satellite.
I think we should stand next to that RCA guy.
That's the RCA.
Dad, that's M, and he's saying, how did it get purple, Jim?
Tyros means television and infrared observational satellite. Okay? Now this was the first attempt. Abe Schnapp was the guy, the program manager at Hightstown that worked on, that was in charge of it. Now that mapped all the weather around the world. If you remember, I brought home montages of pictures showing this. Now, after that development, they went over and they started getting more and more sophisticated. And this is an improved operational satellite. Now, I worked on the solar panels. I had some people working with me working on solar panels. My contribution was with transmitters and receivers on this thing.
Uh-huh. That's called ITOS. ITOS.
That's the company you work for now, right?
And what are these over here?
Right now, this is just an improved weather satellite.
Right.
Now then they had different versions where they wanted to get the geostationary operation. What it was is they were trying to get more of the minerals and the weather, not as much the weather as other kinds of infrared and ultraviolet radiations from the Earth.
Mm-hmm.
You could see fault lines, they looked at oceans. This is where they spotted, these things are used to spot formations like Sodom and Gomorrah that we were in Israel.
Uh-huh.
Did you work on that thing?
That particular one,
Yeah.
I worked on
Like a brother or sister project?
a little later as it transitioned between here and here. I didn't work on the original tyrants.
And you didn't work on the newest one?
Well, that's not the newest one, but that's a newer one. This is newer yet.
Uh-huh.
See, I helped set up the solar panel setup where you could.
So you worked on this one?
Like this one, not necessarily this
This
one.
one, because it may be burnt out in space.
Yeah.
Now, see, here's the kinds of things that they do. They give us the weather all over the United States. Say view. Point to one and say view. They got to point to one with the track. Oh, did you? I know. Where do you want to look at?
You want to go over and take a picture with him?
Pop-up made. On the tail, on the latter
yeah.
stage, that means it's Russian.
Right.
That's the Soviet Union is really, that's their symbol. It's not
Right.
Russia, it's Soviet Union.
Is this the exhibit you wanted to see over here?
Yeah.
That's the see the astronauts coming
No,
down on
to the right here.
on the moon surface.
No.
Was
Here
this
now.
exhibit you Buzzy wanted to see?
No, he wanted to
this
see that.
this one.
For
What is
sure.
this one up
Which
here?
one?
This is a LEM. Is that what this is?
The LEM excursion module.
Did you work on any of these? You didn't work on the Russian one?
No.
Did you work on that one?
No.
Did you say this one that he said he wanted to see right here?
Uh-huh.
Not the one?
No, we saw the
Was this the one you wanted to see?
we just
We
saw
wanted
the
to see
Tyrus.
but the thing is that the other one was Lunar Orbiter, which I don't know where it is.
Well, why don't we ask somebody?
She can feel the
You know,
stars.
you ask people here,
This
they
is
don't
here's
have
the-
it
here's the-
organized. We asked them where Tyrus was. Tell them somewhere else. We found it ourselves.
Okay.
It's the buzz bomb
That is the buzz bomb.
that the Germans used to bomb England in
See if
World
we
War
can get a name
II.
anywhere.
You're getting too
I know,
close.
trying to see if I can get the writing.
You can't get it right.
I got it.
Did you?
See, I
All
can't
right,
really
now
get
back
that
it off.
steady.
Back it off now and come
There's
over
the
and take a
writing.
picture.
Maybe you guys can read it.
Say what it is.
That's the buzz bomb. That was it used to fly from France to hit London.
God.
And Jordan, show this over here.
This is the V2.
which was launched from France also against London and became the prototype
all
for
the way down.
and it became the prototype for
That's a great picture.
for the
That's a great picture.
Just so you can see how big it is.
that was Werner von Braun's did this after he came to work for the United States. He became a United States citizen.
Look at that. That's big. That's real big.
All right, come on, Daddy's waiting.
See, I'm all the way down here, and it's all the way up there.
It's as big as a building.
I don't know what that is,
I think that's incredible.
but we're gonna get an all-around view of it.
How they eat and how they exercise
We
and
can
how
go
they take a bath.
See, we were all the way down there, and this thing goes all the way up to here. Now we're gonna go in and see how they exercise and how they ate. There's Jamie with Joy. See if we can get.
That's the Skylab.
Did you like it? Did you like it?
Did you like it, Joy?
You want to go again? Want to go get?
All right.
There's Dad. There's Dad.
Are you all right with her for a minute, Jane?
She went there.
Hey, babe.
All right. We're gonna go in now.
One, which is called, that's the buzz bomb. The reason they call it, the engine buzz, like a buzz. And then when the buzz stopped, you had to worry because
It wasn't flying anymore.
it ran out of gas. It actually ran out of gas.
Look what a beautiful day it is, Jordan. Look what, show the day how pretty it is.
You can't
This is the exercise chairs.
That's not.
look at it.
Okay.
Should I stop it?
No, I have more batteries.
Okay.
And see, there's an ergonomic ergometer for the bicycle.
There's the bicycle.
And see the bathtub over there? The astronauts took a shower in there.
I guess you ought to turn off in case we find the lunar orbiter.
They planted these things called retro moon point on the moon, and you shine a laser up to it, and get the laser. Jordan, come over and tell you about it. See, that's the first handheld camera that was used on the Apollo 7 mission on October 11, 22nd, 1968. Now, I worked on what they call the STC fix on this thing, which means that they showed it on the astronaut's face on takeoff, and they didn't want it to overpower, but when they got around the cabin, they wanted to move it to sensitivity time control. Now, what happened is it was used to point out the window where it wasn't designed to be used. It was, and they got the first pictures, first live pictures of the Earth. It was mainly designed to use within the cabin. Now, when it didn't work the first night, outside the cabin, they were, Capcom, which is Houston, was talking to them. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning. We were watching it at home in bed, and Mommy and I. And she says, didn't you work on that? And I said, yeah. And she said, what did you do? I said, I worked on the STC over. So the Capcom then went to the astronaut and says, what position is the STC switch in? She says, I knew you screwed it up. But that's the camera.
There you go. And then
The first
Basically, when
live
this game starts,
television and films from space.
Must be exercised every 3 months.
Now we didn't produce. That's a black and white. We didn't produce the color camera. Someone else beat us out for the color.
It needs to be used every 3 months.
Lunar orbiter. I worked on the modulation selector, which was a vestigial sideband filter in there, which sent pictures that were developed, 35 millimeter pictures were developed on the spacecraft, and then they were processed and scanned off and sent through the modulation selector back to the transmitter, back to Earth.
that's that right there.
And I also worked with Ed McHugh on the solar simulator, which exposed light to the panels and checked the panels out. Those are 4 panels. That's part of the that provide power
The energy?
to the satellite.
Right. That's the Ranger over here.
Yeah, this is it. See, Pop-Up worked on that one.
Did you work on the Ranger or no?
The Ranger wasn't an RCA.
That was the one that crash landed into the moon and then took pictures just before it crash landed. And this one circled the moon, took the first photographs close up to the moon, right?
Yes, it took what we call, I may have it at home, it's called the picture of the century. What it was a low-level strip films. You took 3 strips and you added them together in the montage, and it showed the first depression on the moon, up close, and the first hill.
Okay.
Is that the actual one that you sent out?
No. I never recovered that. They didn't bring that back down. That crashed into the moon. Or went off.
What you worked on?
The camera to the transmitter. Careful. And the pictures then went back to Earth. And I.
Of Shalom Talmud Torah Synagogue.
It's mom and pop, my mother and father.
And this was in 1956, that picture.
Yeah.
And then are they in this picture up here in 1941?
They probably. Golden Jubilee, they should be, but you look how many people there. Now, I gotta go over here. See this picture along, oh, this is the founders
Right.
of the old shul, and my grandfather and Morris Kavitz's father, which is,
Okay.
let's see if I can find the names. I forgot where they are.
What's the matter, sweetheart? What's the matter?
This is Nussin Kafertz, and this is Morris Kafertz's father.
And my father's
And,
uncle.
And Louis Rosenberg's uncle.
And that's
Okay.
his wife behind
he-
him with
No,
the-
it's not.
Okay.
No, it's
He
not.
raised, Buzzy,
Yeah.
Nussin raised my father.
Right.
He was
Over
like-
here, if we go into the middle of the picture, there is Mrs. Kafertz, who's a little bit to the front. I think it's going to be this woman right here.
That one there?
Yeah.
Turn the brightness a little bit down.
And next,
Interrupt a moment to
Yeah.
say hello.
Oh, hi.
I'm Rabbi Clavin. That's the second one.
second one from the right,
From the end.
Yeah.
right
I
there.
used to go there with my father when I was 5 years old.
Where at the Hebrew home?
Yeah,
We
it used to be
down
on
on
Spring Road
Spring
and
Road.
and 13th Street.
Yeah, I think I used to, I saw him as a kid, I'd seen him at the Hebrew home.
Yeah.
That's where he davened it, I think, if I'm not
Yes,
mistaken.
yes. But that's the father, and then the mother
We're
is
trying to
over-
figure out which one is the mother.
The mother, we're
Mrs.
trying-
Capritz.
Yeah.
That
It's
I
got her
would-
in the middle. She's one of these women right in here. I think it must be this one right here, by that chart over there.
Now, she died, and he remarried too, after this picture. You know, he was remarried, when, they used to live just off of
I
Spring
think it's
Road.
this one.
We used to
Well, in
live,
the Spring Road neighborhood.
I don't think so.
and we lived
Scott.
up Princeton Place from there.
Right down the middle. It's got 6 guys.
It could be this.
So, yeah, I think you start here and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Stay on the same
6. Now you gotta start here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You got 3 on each side. So right down the 6, you would have this one
They're
right here
buried,
would be the
they're
middle.
buried out.
This would be the middle person right here.
Oh, right there?
I would be the middle one.
Okay.
That's the Upshall Cemetery. Really? If you go to the Caperidge plot. You know, that's
Papa, was
what
this
I
your
was
dad?
doing was listening.
Papa, is that your dad?
There's the rabbi who married Mom and Dad, Rabbi Albert Davis, the man to the right.
And here's my father again.
Yeah. And this is a photograph
They're burning the charter. They're
in
burning.
1945. They're burning the charter. It's February 12th, 1945. They're burning the mortgage. And it says right here, Louis Rosenberg, ex-president of Congregation. Oh, Shalom.
Yeah.
It looks like him.
It looks a little like him, but it's not.
It's a $17,000 mortgage. This was in the paper on February 12th, 1945.
Hi, Buzz.
Just one second.
Did you find another picture?
Yeah, Barry found
Here's Louis Rosenberg III from the left, right here, in 1961. And that's when they had their first annual donor banquet. This is a photograph of the synagogue where Mom and Dad Joe and Rochelle got married, and it's at
East Street.
467 East Street Southwest.
No, that's not, I'm sorry. that's-
Actually, this is the synagogue before you got your synagogue where you got
No,
married.
no,
in.
no, no.
Is
Two
it?
two synagogues.
Oh, I'm
merged.
sorry, Talmud Torah. This one has nothing to do
See,
with them.
Southwest, they merged with,
Right.
See if
This one was the synagogue that merged with this synagogue.
It looks very much like
Yeah.
it.
But your synagogue was around 7th and I, right?
Yeah, Fifth and I.
5th and I. That's where you got bar mitzvahed and married.
I wish I could. Let's see.
Here's the list of people who were buried in the O Shalom Synagogue between 1895 and 1927. We're going to take a look at here for just a second and see if there are family members there. And there are. Off of this list, the one that we spotted first is William K. Fritz. He was buried there in 1920.
There's a Yetta Rosenberg, but she's not related.
My grandfather over here in the newspaper.
No.
Down here is when they were burning the, that was him, when they were burning the mortgage.
$17,000 mortgage.
And then there was another picture over here.
Here's another picture of my mother and father here.
Right here?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
And then there's another picture over here
Over here.
in 1961. I'm pretty sure this is K. Fritz right here
And there
with
he
the
is.
hat on.
Here he is when they burned the mortgage in 45. And there's my mother and father here.
Right there.
Mhm.
And that's her husband,
And then my
Nathan.
great uncle, he was like a grandfather, he was one of the founders of this. Morris Capers, his father.
What was Nathan's wife's name?
I forget, I got it on this.
Okay.
But I used to go, he was like my
Stuck to you.
Now, you see, this is the women's, there's the men.
It's the women's section and then the men's.
It's like a heart, Buzzy. Look up there. It's like a heart.
Oh, okay.
My friends, a lot of my friends. But
Here we are at, whose place is this?
this is Lou and Mary Rosenberg, my father and mother's house at 1221 Tuckerman, right off of Piney Branch Road and Georgia Avenue.
1221 Tuckerman. This is where Lou and Mary lived, and Irene lived here a little while too. This was after Dad already was out of the house and they had already moved from their neighborhood farther in town. Well, right near 13th and Tuckerman, and it's actually 1221 Tuckerman. Okay. Okay, this is Theodore Roosevelt High School. Okay, Dad, want to talk to me?
Yeah, I went
Talk loud.
I spent my 10th, 11th, and 12th year here in school, and I played football for 3 years here. Graduated before I went to pre-I, which is engineering school.
Since you don't follow directions, I'm going to ask you to say it again, okay? I'm going to say it a little
This
louder.
is Theodore Roosevelt High School. I spent my 10th, 11th, and 12th years here. I played football. I finished high school here, and then I went on to Capitol Radio Engineering Institute down on 16th Street, which is about 10 blocks from here.
All right.
All right, this is the high school gym, Roosevelt High School gym, for the basketball plays and everything. Over here is the stadium. The stadium, that's where I played football. It's the Roosevelt High School Stadium. There's a plaza up there that we used to hang out, and we used to look down these slopes. They built some more onto the plaza, it looks like. But the foreign kids that used to come from the embassies, their parents were ambassadors and such, used to drive cars, and they used to park in all the no parking zones here because the police couldn't give them a ticket. The police would pull up, try to give them a ticket, and they'd look at the license plate and couldn't do it. Now, just to the other side there, the other buildings are McFarland Junior High School, like middle school.
That's behind the football stands.
Right. See, there's the take a picture of the Rough Riders. I was a Rough Rider.
Where's the Rough Rider?
Over, see that thing?
Oh, Okay, wait a second.
That's the Roosevelt Rough Riders. It was Teddy Roosevelt Rough Riders. We were the football. That was the football team.
It's the Rough Riders.
I used to play many games in mud and rain.
Looks like they're making the field all earth
Yeah,
again and redoing the field.
It was. That's what it was. Now, over here, straight ahead, you get that. That's the Petworth Library. That was a public library where we did a lot of the research for papers and things like that. It was all in this one nice complex here. Elementary school. This is where all the Rosenbergs went to school. Teeny, Jeanette, Seymour, all of us went through elementary school here. Rose went here. This was the playground. We called it the playground, and there was none of that structure that you see there. It was all flat, and we had a little fishing pool over here. It was a wading pool. And this was the house that we used to have fires in. We used to build fires for the Boy Scouts.
Inside?
Huh?
Oh, they had a fireplace. Okay.
And we used to be, that was where the Boy Scouts met. So this is all called the Parkview area.
Okay, hold on 1 second. This is all on Princeton Avenue.
Princeton Street, Princeton Place.
Princeton Place.
And this is Water Street.
Okay.
Water, W-A-R-D-E-R.
Okay, and what's the name of the school again?
It's Parkview Elementary.
Okay, wait a second. This is the Ehrlich's house, right on the corner, and that basement garage. Dad, tell a story.
The basement garage was the Air Raid Warden's headquarters. And I was a Boy Scout and also an Air Raid Warden messenger. I used to wear a big white helmet with a lightning bolt on it, and when they turn out all the lights, when the fire, they were afraid that the U.S. was going to be bombed, they turn out all the lights, and I would go down the street and see somebody's lights on, and I'd say, "Turn those lights out!" You know, I was 12 years old, yelling at the people. But we had a map, and it was a civil defense, a group that we worked out of that garage.
Now this is your street.
Now
right
this
here.
is the street that was predominantly Jewish. We had a few Greeks.
Wait a second. Let me just.
We had an abortionist lived here. Dr. Peckham was here, and he was an abortionist, and that was quite a furor in those days.
Okay, Dad. So this is Princeton Place right here, right?
I live down the street.
Yeah, I understand. I'm just trying to shoot us down the street, and this is just off of Warner Street and Princeton Place. What?
That's the Old Soldiers.
That's Old Soldiers. Okay, this is Princeton Place. Okay, just tell me a little bit about this street.
Now, Princeton Place, it was like a wonderful neighborhood in the sense that everybody would look after you. If you got in trouble, somebody would come out and wipe your nose or clean your face. Dominantly Jewish, although we had, we had Greeks and we had a couple Italians and we had a few WASPs in here. But it was a very Hamish neighborhood. And I lived here from the time I was born until I was 16 years old. And then that's when we moved up to the New Hampshire house.
Okay.
I also, first time I was hit by a car.
Is this the ice cream truck?
No, the ice cream truck is down there.
Okay, you're hit by a car here.
I got a car with it had a fender, and the fender was like loose. The car was moving very slowly. I was 5 years old, and I grabbed the fender and moved the fender and said, "Stop!" And I really didn't get hurt, but I was hit by a car right.
Now, what side of the street did you live on? The side you're behind you?
I was going up to.
No, what I'm saying is, no. Which house is yours? On this side of the street?
This side of the street.
Okay, so then the alley is right behind there that you always used to talk about, right?
Yeah, that's the alley. You can go down the alley if you want to see it.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, we used to walk up the alley to go to school.
Okay.
School was over here.
Right.
There. And Jimmy's, which was the candy store, was right here, and that's where I used to go get my Uncle Jake's paper.
He's the one in the yeah.
And I used to get penny candy there.
Okay. All right, let's go down to the house down the street.
610 was the Myers. They were a Gentile family. And then next door was our house, which was 612. And that's where Rosie, Sylvie, Jeanette, Teeny, Seymour, and the twins and I live with our mother and father.
Okay, it's the second house up. Okay, let's just go up and take a picture up there. This is 612 Princeton Place. Okay, just go up on the step for a sec. Okay, all right. That's the house that you grew up in from when you came home from the hospital.
The Solomons lived next door.
I'm just going to back up a little bit.
He was a dentist. He became a dentist.
Okay, hold on. I can't. You're not going to be able to hear you right now. 1 second.
I used to sleep in the corner room.
That's this room right here, and then Seymour and Joe slept here, and Lil and Mary slept in the room next door with the twins.
Slept with the twins in a big bed, you know, until somebody moved out to make room for the twins when they got older.
Okay.
They used to sleep in mom and dad.
So the second house over where the steps coming down was the Rosenbergs, and if we just turn around, look down the alley, okay, and then we come over here. This is Frida's house, the back of Frida's house,
Right.
and that was Ruth Goldberg's house.
Right.
Okay. 5118 Princeton Place.
New Hampshire
I'm
Avenue.
sorry, New Hampshire Avenue. 5118 New Hampshire Avenue. The house with the little white metal Christmas tree was the house that Lou and Mary moved to, and Joe moved to.
They're from 16 to 20 years old.
When Dad was 16 till he was 20, and that would have been about what year? That would be 1946 to 1950.
I went into service.
And then he went into service.
I thought it was all one house when I
And my mother, when she came to visit, thought this whole block was my dad's house. She thought she hit
saw
the
it
gold
at-
mine.
She saw it at night. She didn't see it.
She thought it was all one property.